We are rolling technology. I was just saying happy birthday to Eric Ten Hag, and then 2 hours later, this came out in the news that Mason Greenwood has been released of all charges, and of course, this has opened a lot of can of worms on Twitter. And I feel, as a community, that we all like to have at least some form of clarity. I want to sort of, as disclaimer, to say that I'm always been kind of neutral in this position. So feel like, for me, it's about understanding that side on the Greenwoods camp, and then I look at the United side, right? For me, I always been club first, always, club before players, no player FC, just club FC. So for me, this is down to whatever club decides from now on, because I don't really understand what's going on in that person's life and what's really happened. But as per my understanding, this has been tried in the British jurisdiction system, has been brought up, and there was not sufficient evidence, and that's pretty much it. So in terms of Greenwood still being a Manchester United employee, yes, he is. He's still under the contract. Will he play for United? It's down to the club to display. I mean, what's your general thoughts and feelings regarding this? I mean, I'm splitted. I'm twisted, but I'm trying to be as neutral as possible.
The truth is, for me, Mick, when I first saw the news breaking this afternoon, felt a bit sick to the stomach. I'm like, what? How on earth has this been dropped? And then, I kind of just I've had a little bit of time to think about it. I mean, I've been working, so I've not been able to study anything or anything, but I've had a little bit of time to think about it. I think let's take Mason Greenwood out of the situation, and talk about law. Not technical, because I'm not a lawyer, but I think innocent until proven guilty is a phrase that is bandied around, and it's currently all over social media. One of the things that I have noticed, I've had a glance through my timeline. I expected most females, and that's not being sexist, to be screaming, get him out, keep him away, no way, sort of thing. And I'm very surprised to see a mix of responses from both male and female.
Yeah.
Where some are saying innocent until proven guilty. Some are saying if the charges are dropped, then so be it. Some are saying get him out of our club, never want to see him again. I think one of my concerns is concerns, I mean, a worse time.
Yeah.
The club are at the greatest that they've been at since Sir Alex retired. Let's be honest. Yeah, I know that Mourinho won us the Europa League, and I'm not on about the trophy in our hand. I'm on about the club as a whole. Ten Hag's come in and cleared out the likes of Ronaldo, and dealt with that situation in the best way possible, which was not an easy one to face. This has obviously always been bubbling along in the background, and he will have been prepped before this broke, one way or another.
No, I 100% agree. In certain ways, I mean, Ten Hag has dealt with a lot of crap this season. I mean, it wasn't an easy job when he walked in May, right?
Yeah.
From clearing out the deadwood to dealing with the Ronaldo situation to turning 53 today, and where we are as a club today, looking back where we were sitting last season, everyone would be laughing at us, if we said we were sitting third today. So what Ten Hag has done is done, impeccable things, right? And for this to drop today as well, I seen that it's caused a lot of discussion in the WhatsApp group, on Twitter, on the socials, and I kind of felt like I owe it to everyone else in this community, because I'm neutral in a way. I have the ability to see the both sides of the story, And then what I want to do is, at the end of the day, it is you as the receiver of the news. You decide what you want to believe. But, we don't know what's gone on in the jurisdiction system. It's been tried. There's not enough evidence, from my understanding, from reading the reports. And now it's the debate of, will he ever play for Manchester United again? Realistically speaking, Phil, he is under contract for Manchester United. And all I wanted to say, as a consumer of the game, I want to hear the reason why. I want the club to come out and say, what is the reasons, if he's going to play or if he doesn't going to play. I want to hear the story, like what went on. But I guess we will never hear that. We never know.
You'll never will hear it. I think United is going to have to release a statement of some sort this evening. I don't think it'll be cut and dry and everyone goes, all right, that's exactly what's happening. He's back for Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Obviously that's never going to happen anyway. Even if he was to return to the club, when a player's been out for 2 weeks, it takes about 5 or 6 weeks to come back to fitness.
God bless you, Books in the comments. The Greenwood situation needs rationale.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think so much to it. We saw several years ago. I don't know if anybody remembers. It was a story that broke around December, around the Christmas party, where Phil Jones was accused of something very similar. It was all over the papers, and eventually it was dropped. And social media wasn't the same as it is now. So I can't say how social media would have reacted to that at the time. I think social media has a massive part to play in where we are looking at the Greenwood situation right now.
100%.
Because there's a lot more voices being heard. Whereas in the past, it was you go to your local corner shop, read a newspaper, read the journalist's opinion, hear a bit off your mates. That was it. Move on. Got on with life. I think
in a way, what you're trying to say, it's more amplified than it used to be. Right?
Absolutely.
You drop a little bit of needle on the ground, it becomes like a thunderstorm. Joined us with the stream all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. Man of the hour, Power Hour. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing well, guys. Am I on? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Loud and clear.
Superb. Yes. Yeah. We always got to double check with these things. But anyway, so I no dig on you, Nick. I was just saying. So I'm really much with Box on this situation because we need rationale, not just from rationale or a narrative that's going to be created by the club and the narrative that's going to be created by the media. We need to be able to just rely on ourselves first and just say, let's think critically about this, because fine, we are we can all agree that we are against violence of any kind, domestic violence, sexual violence, animal violence, whatever. When we saw Zuma with the cat thing, we were not happy with that. When we saw now the what you were just talking about real quick now reminded me about the fact that Ronaldo also had a sexual assault allegation case that was pending and dropped in Las Vegas. And when you take those two situations at face value, obviously they're very different circumstances, but at face value is as the public were privy to the fact that some details in the Greenwood case, we've heard the voice notes, we've seen pictures, we've seen the videos, and with the Ronaldo situation, we didn't. Who knows what the Ronaldo situation was? And so we have to really think about this critically with our rationale and say, first of all, I want to know. I want to form my own opinion and not be influenced by A, B, C, and D. I think it's very important, obviously, to think of it as a united family. Where are we going to go next? I think Papa Eric will tell us, if he wants him back in the fold. But my inclination is that there might be too much unrest. There might be too much friction that an introduction of Greenwood might just cause. At the same time, I'm saying this, by the way, when you look on the Manchester United website right now, Mason Greenwood is back in there in the list of forwards. So if you're Ten Hag, you are like, okay,
mate.
Go ahead. Yeah,
he's been on the. He's always been on that players list.
Yeah,
it's not been put back on today.
That's what I was saying.
Not just today.
Power hour. No, he's always been on, and that's what I've been saying. Like, even if he's been dismissed, he's still an employee under contract.
Yeah,
employer contract by Manchester United. I'm just going to read the comment from Ayush Jill here. Thank you for contribution. If police and court removed all charges, only they are the people that know about the full story. They know the rules and regulations. Conditions not totally clear. We can only wait. And this is kind of, I echo what Ayush is saying. We can only wait. I mean, this is all we can do. Like, at the end of the day, I care about the club. I don't look at the footballer and his personal life. How do we know this story was amplified? How do we know it was a role play? There's a lot of questions that needs to be asked. And, people are so quick to cast the first stone, right? But instead of having patience and let the story unfold, let the truth and the facts come out.
Is he not always been Is he not back with her now?
Yeah.
I heard that together. Yeah.
So
just a thought, completely like away from it, but in terms of how the club might handle it. So what is the cut-off date for submitting your teams for the season? You've got to kind of submit it and then resubmit it again later on. Is it the end of January?
I think it might be. Well, I know for the Cups is February 2nd for Champions League. I don't know about the.
So he's missed that. That's been submitted.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it could be very well played by the club that everything's submitted for the season, and now we've got several months to decide how they are going to deal with this, whether he train with them or not, or train in private facilities that the club pay for, or what, or they come to a mutual agreement that it's dismissed due to not unfair dismissal, but just kind of they come to an equal agreement to part ways, sort of thing. Because I think, you think there's 78, 79,000 people in Old Trafford. If he steps foot on that pitch again, you're going to have some clapping, some cheering, and a lot booing. And if anybody on the, it could go onto the pitch. It could be players against them. You could see things in train. There is a lot. And I believe, and I said at the time, when Rashford had his dip in form last year, part of it was because of what was going on with his feeding thing he was doing, his poverty and that, an absolute fair play to him. But I think he was really rocked by whatever was happening with Lingard, because he was going through a lot as well, one of his best mates. And Greenwood, I don't think he knew about it as well, and he was one of his best mates as well. So what I'm saying off that is it'll be interesting to see how the likes of Rashford and that respond to this scenario, because they will know the truth, they will see what's going on. But the thing is, the Norwegian in the comments has just said, like, bump him down to the 23 as a punishment. That doesn't resolve the situation of the fans. The fans still say either part of the club or he's not. He's playing for us or he's not. Doesn't matter whether he's 23s, 21s, 18s. Or play for the seniors, it's not that he either plays for the club or he doesn't. The club back him or they don't.
Or the Norwegian, or if it doesn't, go ahead, Mick. Go ahead.
No, I go back to Norwegian's chat here.
Yeah. It's one of those where I think for me, the appropriate way to deal with them would be to send them to Ten Hag's Airbnb that's in Netherlands, wherever Sancho was, and then spend a couple of, and then at the end of the season, then we release him or sell him, because at Manchester United, that chapter, it's very difficult to see it continuing. But not saying it's impossible, but it's very difficult.
I kind of always see eye to eye with a loyal Ayush. He's saying, I think club would not allow Greenwood to come back to kill the history. We see, I mean, I don't know. It's like we seen what Ten Hag's been doing with mental health, has been dealing with injuries. Like take Sancho for instance, send him away to Holland to train with one of his trainers, over there, and you saw Sancho coming back with a big smile yesterday, the introduction. So I don't know. I'm twisted. Like knowing that Greenwood he's a great talent, he's a great player. We've seen what Greenwood can do on the pitch, and I don't know. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to upset the apple cart here. I don't want to upset the fan base. So I remain neutral. I've always been neutral in this case. I always said, let the police and the justice system do it the bit, And I know in UK they have this innocent until proven guilty, XYZ. But I look at it as a footballing merits instead of personal merits. But I'm against zero tolerance for abuse, zero tolerance for bullying. That's my personal stand, though.
On the footballing side, you cannot help but imagine what a amazing situation it would be to have an informed Greenwood and Anthony competing for that sport. That would we could win the league, my friend. But that's not
just power hour. Just a sheer thought yesterday when you saw the second half substitution, the three musketeers coming back in. We're talking about who?
Martial, Rashford, and Sancho.
Standish, you must have been so proud as punch to see Sancho coming back as well.
Mate, absolutely. Well, it was great to see the the applause he got from the crowd, and they were constantly shouting Sancho. It must have just warmed into his heart because whatever he's been through, Ten Hag was asked what he said to Sancho, what made him laugh before he went on. He's never going to tell you that. But the point being is, he probably just something along the lines of, "Here you go. This is what you've been working for. It was worth staying in my B&B for it. You might a couple of jokes about it, but get out there, enjoy yourself, and listen to the response that you're going to get."
Yeah.
And he got it, and he deserved every single moment of it.
On that moment, I thought it was something like "knock knock." Who's there? Jadon Sancho, eh?
Jadon who?
Jadon Sancho, eh?
It's good to have a laugh, guys.
Moment.
I mean, mental health is a serious issue, and abuse is a serious issue. So it's good, to have mental united, that we are mental united, and we are able to sort of, share opinions, to sort of talk to the community. How do you feel? Tell me your feelings. At the end of the day, opinions is like football opinions. We're not always going to have the same opinions, even in politics, the Reds and Greens will never agree. And if we do, we will have world peace at the end of the day. That's my realist opinion. I'm just going to go back to Book's comments because he's been waiting there. I find it funny Arsenal fans condemning Greenwood. Are Saudi Arabian or Newcastle fans condemning Greenwood, using moral compass when it suits? 100% Books, 100%.
That's a very big point. Thomas Partey still got a, he's got some dirt. Like where do we stop? We mentioned the Ronaldo, we mentioned Thomas Partey. Dani Alves just caught a case. Mendy, he's had 6 of his 8 charges dropped, and he still has 2. It's like, when do you stop drawing? Where does your moral line lie, and when do you draw it? And when it suits you, when it suits your narrative, and you know what I mean. So right now, I'm so much with you guys. Like, I feel like I'm so morally conflicted. Go ahead.
Go back to Books again. We talked about Sancho. Sancho has received mental help for private issues, plus needed fitness issues to deal with the demands of Ten Hag. Greenwood would need a lot of that before even considering playing. 100%. That is a spot-on comment. I really endorse that comment, to be honest. Guys, what are your reflection on what Books is saying there?
Yeah, I think that's
Any
kind
thoughts?
of what. That's sort of the thing I was referring to. I was saying, the club's got 6 months to, or whatever, if they've submitted their teams to make a decision behind the scenes. It's Ten Hag's not going to be able to get away from it in his next press conference, which, because of the games coming thick and fast, literally every 3 days, if he doesn't give you a clear answer tomorrow. You'll get one on Friday. You'll be asked again on Friday, and then you'll be asked again the Wednesday after. And it isn't going to go away until the club make a statement, which I think's got to happen tonight. Usually, you see these sort of things 6, 8 o'clock, something like that. There's got to be something said off the back of what's occurred today and what's been revealed. In terms of his fitness, absolutely, that is going to take a long time, and the club can hide behind that for longer. But there's still got to be a statement, because you see these training pictures. You get journalists saying, who are allowed into the ground, they will see whether they will know whether his car's all this thing. So there's no hiding. He's the only thing that Power Hour says, obviously the fact that send him away to Ten Hag's, he's a bold, wherever it might be that he sent Sancho, and get him out the limelight while it's dealt with. A bit like the Rooney situation years ago when he was sent away to America. There was a couple of pictures came out about him training in the American football ground or wherever it was, with amazing facilities, and he came back peak. But that was that wasn't to do with his fitness ability. That was to do with his mental and he keep his fitness up, but his mental, because of what was going on with Colleen and the rumours of him with that older lady, and so that was then accepted because it was seen as an affair, but it was all over the papers. But it wasn't rape, which is what we're talking about this time.
No,
or alleged.
And this situation where we talk about Ronaldo rape allegations in Las Vegas, and we can even talk about Giggsy cheating on his brother's wife and stuff like that. But it's not rape still. It's just
that's the difference, you see. And
there's scandals all the time in football. That's what I'm trying to say.
The only thing I would say that concerns me is not too long ago, before this came out, there was similar comments about the same person and Phil Foden when they were away for England, and they got sent away from the England camp because of what had happened. But apparently that was brushed under the carpet as well. Phil Foden was back in the City squad, and Greenwood never really recovered from it. He had a couple of moments, a couple of shots. He had a couple of half games when he came back, and then this all came out shortly after. Whether it was all connected, you don't know. You don't know what's going on.
That story triggered me as well, because it looks like Greenwood got most of the stick and Foden got away with it, but they were both involved, which was a little bit weird to me as well.
Yeah.
And
again,
do you agree in the way that if he comes back, and going back to this previous comment, that if he comes back, he will go down to a U23 to get his fitness up?
The thing about it is knowing the vibes that I get from Greenwood is that he wasn't sitting down playing FIFA or Football Manager. He was probably staying very much in shape, and it's just a matter of just getting the match rhythm flow, because that's very different from running on a treadmill or lifting weights or whatever. But the main thing is, if at all he's allowed to kick a ball and wear that Man United shirt again, of course, the first thing is to just run him straight into the under 23 field and have him to be match fit as quickly as possible, because at the end of the day, Ten Hag is fighting a fight with one hand, and with Eriksen gone, with Donny gone, it's no secret that squad depth is an issue, and he's having to find creative solutions, mentioning that Victor Lindelof is now going to be a 6 sometimes and things like that.
Yeah, he was playing 6 yesterday. Did you guys react on it, like on the substitution? Lindelof played in number 6. They took out Casemiro and played in Lindelof. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? It's like, did you guys react?
Apparently, apparently I didn't know that. I thought Victor Lindelof's secondary position was right back, but I didn't know about the 6 part. But apparently that's part of his education in Benfica, I was impressed. And I was like, who knew? Now Ten Hag is probably going to put Malacia as center back before Maguire even gets to play center back again. So anyway,
PG's saying here he's got 2 years left on his contract. Just to let you know.
Yeah. It's really that we have to get him back up to speed if he's been cleared and given the go ahead, and somehow the sponsorship deals are figured out, because I know Nike backed out of the association with Mason Greenwood. So it's a big question for even Team Viewer and all these other sponsors. What are we going to do next? Because they also have a moral obligation to sort of direct the narrative somewhere. So I'm just curious and waiting with a keen eye. And obviously, the person that we have to remember in this conversation the most is Mason Greenwood and the victim, and those two people need to be the ones that heal the most from this situation and
100%.
become better, especially Mason Greenwood, become a better person moving forward. And you'd wish that all the youngsters that we have, from the Garnachos to the Pelistris, to get everybody to have a better education, a better guidance system in place. Therapy needs to be normalized. They had earning enough money to have a therapy, because they have got all these pressures and things. Who knows what was going on in so-and-so's mind when this was happening, but they need a space to be able to deal with those pressures and be able to have them addressed head on, and
where's my applause button? Power hour, you nailed it. Thank you. Because you mentioned something with mental health, and it depends on who you surround you with. Like, if you're a kid 17, 18 years old, like, the world is in front of you, your agent is telling you go son, they get thrown like 50,000-30,000 a week, like, all of a sudden you're on top of the world. Like, it gets to your head. Let it be an education as a role model for the other kids. Like, I hope Greenwood comes back and had 1 year to think, where did I go wrong? Because clear and obviously he's surrounded himself with the wrong people. People around him was saying also he was surrounding with the wrong type of friends, X, Y, Z. And hopefully,
Sorry,
Phil,
Mick.
yeah. Go ahead, Phil.
Just a different twist on things, right? So his girlfriend, who is the same girl he's with now, who is the same one who accused him of this and started this ball rolling, she wasn't afraid to come out on social media when it was reported at first. So if she is back with him and she's accepted that it wasn't what was originally alleged, it's going to take surely some kind of statement from her or something, a public statement that is going to be seen, that will go just as viral, that says it wasn't as it seemed, I framed him, or something, there's got to be something. It can't just sit in silence, because he's going to be seen. If he's back, he's going to be seen in public again. He's been in hiding too much. He's going to be seen in public again. He's going to be seen with her. People are going to be clamoring for interviews. People will be at his house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's so hard to say. If he is, one I wanted to add as well, Ten Hag is clearly much more than an on the field manager. He's an off the field manager as well. He's come into the club and he's sorted the club out from the inside out, where the Glazers are going as well. But he's not stupid at all. He knows the impact that this will have on and off the pitch at the worst possible time, when all the focus needs to be on all the fantastic things that we are doing. And Ten Hag he's definitely not going to rush him back if he is to be back. And he'll probably wait for limelight to die down if he is coming back. Give him the training that he needs. If it's proven innocent, he'll know the full case. He'll know the full story. And so I think what I have to say is trusting Ten Hag with what we've seen of what he's done, the way he's managed, the way he's dealt with people, the way he's took no rubbish, no lies, no lateness, no messing around. He's going to deal with this in the right way as well. And if Ten Hag gets him back, you have to assume that whatever he's been privy to, that we're never going to get privy to, is sufficient for him to accept him.
100%. In murky, corrupt world of football, if United release him, another club will pick him up. That's exactly what will happen, Books. 100%. If Greenwood doesn't learn from, then he will never will. I mean, if Greenwood doesn't learn from this, then he will never will. And that's a lesson in life. You know, if you don't learn from your past mistakes or whatever you've done, let's say you know, if you put your hand on the stove and you burn yourself, you know that you never go put your hand on the stove again. And that's lessons of life. I just want to share something personal because I know what it's like to be alleged wrongfully. It happened to me. You remember this Me Too movement back in the days when it was this Me Too, right? I got reported for something that I haven't done at work. You know, it was some sexual allegations at work. You know, I'm sorry for bringing this up. I didn't do nothing. And I was not even presented with no factual evidence. I got dismissed from work without even knowing. I was fighting this in court. You know, my reputation was smeared. Everyone was talking, and I was innocent because I never did anything. I did, you know, somebody. It was just alleged that somebody of that person saw something, that, you know, there was something going on. But you know what? In work, people flirt all the time. People spend 8 hours a day all the time. But you know me, I am just very polite. I keep my distance. Like, I shake hands. You know, I was a senior manager at that point of time as well. But that was a hell. Like, I spent 6 months fighting for my right, and I won. But the mental damage that it did to my health was not good, you know. So I'm not the one that will say that, you know what, if you're innocent, the truth will come out, you know. But the battle that you have to go inside to clear your name, you can imagine what he has to do now. You know, I'm just putting it out there. I've been there wrongfully, like, you know, but, you know, I cleared it, you know. And it took, even after that, it took like, you know, a year or two to clear your reputation and name in the market, because once people have judged you, you know, this is kind of how fickle people are in the world, like, you know. So it's very dangerous, like, you know, to cast the first stone and judge somebody, because at the end of the day, the only person that can judge me is when I die is God, you know. Then I will answer for my sins, you know.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's,
no, that is very, very powerful to share that. And I think, like, the main thing that you also made me think about the fact that while out here as fans saying, "Oh, we don't want Greenwood, he should go to," what if Greenwood does not want to play for Man United ever again? What if it's his, you know, it's also his prerogative to choose what he wants to do, you know, and his relationship with the organization might be very different now, and his energy, you know what I mean? There's that aspect of it too. And he may just, if he's cleared and allowed to play, he may just want to go do it at a different country, different league, and there's that. Yeah.
Trust me, that was the first time I ever released this. It's been years. Like, I kept it inside, but, you know, the battle that I went through, that was horrible. Like, you know, and that's what I'm saying about mental health, and especially if you know, and the people around you that knows you, you know, that knows you. God damn it, Mick, you could never done that. You couldn't even harm a fly, you know. And to get these allegations, like, you know, even if you're a famous person, there's been a lot of hearsays, you know, they're saying, oh, he grabbed me, he did this, he did that, only for social media cloud fame, you know, and get a payout. I'm not saying that my case was like that, but, you know, I lost my job, you know, which was not fun, you know, and trying to get a new job again, trying to pick yourself up again, that was difficult, you know. And I'm a human being at the end of the day. I have feelings, so I can understand both sides of the world. And that's why I'm saying it's so important that we as realist community discuss this, because at the end of the day, we are discussing this, which is a very sensitive matter. We're opening up a can of worms, but at the end of the day, it is you that decides what to believe. It is you that decide who to believe. You know, that's the way of life, isn't it? Guys, thank you so much for coming in and sharing. Like, it feels a little bit of a therapy, like, as a fan base, you know. Just going to go in the last comment here. Are you still club, police, and court need to solve the problem in a transparent way? Will they? Phil?
I don't think it can be transparent, because that's why I say that the club are going to have to release a statement. And I think the initial statement will be something along the lines of, due to today's breaking, you know, due to today's news, you know, it'll be something very, very brief, and then it'll say United will send, you know, provide a further statement in due course, or something like that. They may not respond at all today. You know, Ten Hag might just say, don't comment on it. We've got a game. Before the game, he'll get asked about it, and he'll just say, "We're talking about the game tonight." Then he'll get asked after the game, and then he might have to answer that. But by then, the club will have had a chance to think about it. But let's not be stupid here. The club will know everything that has been going on with this from day one to today now.
Yeah.
And so they will have something prepared, something ready.
I think so.
It's a shock to the community but there was sort of whispers of it breaking last week. There was a few things on social media saying that he's going to get released. So in some ways, that's kind of broke the ice early ahead of this happening today. It's not the biggest shock because it's gone on for so long without being proven, and obviously the fact that he's back with her and all these different things, and you just think this is going back the other way now, I don't think there can be a transparent way of resolving it. I think there will be a clear statement. I don't think it'll be wishy-washy. I think there has to be a clear statement. It might come in 2 or 3 different stages, but certainly it's United who's got to come out and make a statement. I don't think Greenwood will make one. He'll be told he's not allowed to, unless the club dismiss him and say, right, go your own way, and then he'll say what he wants when he's gone. Unless obviously there's a non-disclosure built into the termination. Or
Can be.
You don't know. So, but either way, you'll never hear the full story.
Yeah. Okay, round the table power hour. Before we wrap up, we were supposed to just do a 15-20. It's been talking points to talking
it's
points.
40 already. I mean, I'm pretty much agreeing with Phil's take that this, because of the nature of the incident, it's one of those where you can't. The privacy actually helps protect the people involved. I mean, some things already are already out there in the public, but you have to sort of mitigate and do some sort of like damage limitation by figuring out a peaceful resolution to sort of move forward from this. And I strongly have this inclination that it'll be at the end of the summer, like at the end of the season, and we will see what happens. But all this is, we're talking because we're only dealing with the limited information that we have, and we will see what happens. As we said, it's just one of those things where I'll just end on by saying the fact that you shouldn't wait to see somebody else make a mistake for you to learn from that. You should, I'm praying that this education just goes to all the young kids that are
breaking news. Breaking news. Sorry.
Breaking news. Live breaking news.
Man United statement notes the decision of the Crown Prosecution Service that all charges against Mason Greenwood have been dropped. The club will now conduct its own process before determining next steps. Club won't make any further comment.
That's the proper way, and this happened live in our stream. Breaking news. Proper way. It's down. It's what we said. It's down to the club to decide.
Sorry
to
about
deal
that,
with this.
Power.
Yeah, no worries. That was a perfect.
That's prophecy happening right there. What you just said.
So that's breaking.
So thank you for sharing.
But I think that is proper way. Sorry, I think it's the club has to do its due diligence as well. The club has to issue a statement. They have to do a proper, and if whatever conclusion they come out to, we fans want to hear the reasoning, the logic and reasoning behind it. Ayush was saying club statement is out. Mick. Yep, we just read it out. Slow Sports News. I played the game. Let's say. Nuyuru Wolfgang, welcome to the stream. Club have made a statement. I don't know where you've seen that. Okay, where have you seen the statement?
It's all over social media.
It's all over social.
Journalists are just releasing it now. It's it's everywhere. It's been released.
Big up, Mr.
Wolfgang. Phil has tier 1 sources. Wait for the tier 2 and 3 ones to get it, and then you'll see the statement.
Yeah. Now, before we round up, we had around the table. everyone that's watching this stream, please leave a comments in the comments below in the thumbnail. What you think? Will Greenwood play for United again? Will he not? Give us a comments and reasoning why, because we like logic and reasoning. Barring from everything, rationale. Yeah. My personal humble opinion, I mean, if I look at it, footballing reasons, footballing person, footballing Greenwood, I think Greenwood is amazing talent, like, you know, so I think he's an amazing footballer. Either way, if he doesn't play for United, or if he plays for United again, or even if he decides, I'm not going to play football again, I'm just going to walk away, kudos, because he's amazing talent. That's all I can say. It's a generation talent that, you know, come by once in 10 years, like, you know, and he came from our academy. He did madness. So for me, from a footballer perspective, Greenwood is amazing footballer. That's all I can say. I don't know what you guys think.
Oh yeah, I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. Generational talent. There's nothing to add to that. Football, everything else, all the drama aside, it's just he's an amazing player who would have only added a lot to Ten Hag's tools, and we know the power of that. Anthony, I heard Anthony is now practicing with his right foot. Now that he's got.
I'm not going to read out this comment. I usually sending a message for Fabrizio Romano. Then Faz writes, "Here we go." Oh, okay, yeah. Do a big up. We're here. We're not here. We're here to support everyone. You are jumping the gun 4-0 against Crystal Palace. Yeah, we're playing Crystal Palace on Saturday. Yeah, Phil.
Sorry, mate. I'm just reading on the Greenwood stuff. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, 4-0 Crystal Palace. No, just round up with some positivity.
Yeah, I don't think 4-0. Do you know what I've spotted? I can see your trend. You started off 9-0 when you first joined MUFC Realist TV. You went to 6, you went to 5, you went to 4. You're getting a little bit concerned. We've got half a season to go. You'll be the minus figures soon. We'll be losing. But yeah, I think Palace, they're a tough side, you know. We beat them last time, but they are always a bogey team for us for whatever reason. I think I've not done my research, but I think I'm right in saying the last 3 or 4 games have been draws, and we've not had good results against them. So I'm not expecting it like to be a rollover game. It'll be interesting to see if Sabitzer gets is he ready? Is he got his pass now? Is he cleared to play?
Yep.
I know he's enrolled in the club. Is he cleared to play? So we could.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%. So, I think Sabitzer would play on, you know, and we playing at Old Trafford as well. So I don't think
exactly. Again, a chance to bring him on and cheer. Hey, well done, welcome to the team, sort of thing.
Sancho's backfiring.
I think we've got the belief at the moment, and I think we'll want to put on a show. We've got to keep the thing going. I'm going to go with
question
2-0.
2-0. Okay. Question: how many unbeaten games have we had at Old Trafford this season?
How many what?
Unbeaten games at Old Trafford.
Unbeaten?
Yeah. I mean, we're counting the draws as well. Anyone in the comments?
Is it one we've been beaten, is it? 2?
Who beat us?
Beginning of the season.
I don't think we've been... Hold on.
Yeah.
Did Brighton beat us at home?
Yep.
Yeah, beginning of the season. And then we went away to Brentford.
So maybe
anyone in the comments?
Once. That's my guess. I don't know. I think we've lost once at home.
Under Erik ten Hag, I lost the figure, but you know, how many have we had unbeaten run in total? Like, you know, we lost what? We lost against Arsenal, of course, that was away, you know, but at home, it's a fortress. I think it's like 10 in a bounce, to be honest. That's something that I heard on ESPN yesterday. 10 in a bounce, unbeaten at Old Trafford. That is a record.
Wow.
Guys, we are going for a marathon. Like, I'm super gassed, super excited. Phil was wondering, what are you smoking this morning, Mick? I said, listen, Phil, I'm just high on endorphins. Let me be. Because Wembley. Like, it's been... Yes. It's like, I even had the PTSD that forgot that we played a final, Europa League final. was it 4 years ago when we had the penalty shootout and the 11th
Yeah,
penalty kick was
one,
there? I totally blocked it out from my memory. PTSD, right? Sorry. And Daniel Crawford reminded me this morning. Yeah, oh God, yeah, it's like it's been 6 years, 5 years, but it's been 5 years since we've been to a cup final, English Cup final. So exciting times, guys. Listen, we have extended the time. I really appreciate it. Power Hour, you're going to host the show later on today.
I hope so.
He asked me earlier, Mick, do you want to come on? We're going to discuss the Glazers and the FFP. And it's like, yeah, sure. Anytime.
Yes, I hope we can do it. I hope we can do it. It's going to be at Football Power Hour in case you want to catch Mick and I talking FFP stuff either later on today or
takeover stuff, FFP stuff, anytime. And always, brother Power Hour, to have you on as usual. Thank you. We just extended some WhatsApps, brother, from another mother in over in Boston, Massachusetts. Wish you
and father.
I know it's and father. So I know it's 12 hours difference between us at the moment, but you know, football has no time difference. The love of the game.
Not at all.
Cheers, Phil.
Been a pleasure, Phil.
As always, Phil.
Take care.
See you later. Take care.
Say hi to your family and stay beautiful, people. Let's like and subscribe to this video. Join if you want. Support this community. It's Mick Ruby from Mufc Realist TV with my side captain Phil Standish. Have a good night and have a good game experience against Crystal Palace. See you guys. Bye for now.
It's the line. What a clearance.